Hello, we are live. Hi, everyone. So, I am Jenner Hines. I am an attorney. I've been an attorney. Well, I've had my own law firm for 10 years. I've been an attorney longer than that. And I help people in high stress professions find purpose and meaning and long term well being in their jobs. And today I want to talk about something that came up recently in a conversation that I was having with someone. I think there is this assumption, there is this perception that when you're in certain professions, law, medicine, executive business positions, there is this expectation that stress is a part of the job, right? We think about, I have a friend, and I know she's going to see this, so shout out to her, who is a ER doctor. And when I hear the stories of her job, I'm like, wow, that's incredible. That's intense, right? And I think, yeah, that's like really stressful. I don't know how I could handle that. But then when I tell the stories of my job, people have even crazier reactions because of the rooms I've been in, because of the people that I've worked with. I'm in criminal defense, so there's a lot of pressure. I work with some high profile people in some difficult positions, and there's a lot at stake, right? So when people react to us, they have this reaction of, wow, that's really stressful what you do. And I don't know if that's exactly where it comes from, but I think we all sort of as a society have this agreement that that's the job, right? So for doctors, we just accept that being a doctor is a stressful job, being a lawyer is a stressful job, and we normalize that. So most of my friends that or are attorneys, like they live the stress like it's tying your shoes, it's brushing your teeth in the morning, it's taking a shower, it's just a part of life. And I've learned, I wanted to say I believe, but it's not just that I believe it, but there is science to prove this. It's very clear that it's not normal. It's not normal. It's not healthy. It's not a good thing. Oh, thank you. It's good to see you live. Thank you. It's definitely not a good thing. It's not healthy for us to constantly be in this state of stress. And what I find is that what a lot of lawyers do is they they create like a ranking, right? So if if the baseline of no stress is 0, right? And the highest possible stress you could be in is at a 10. I think most people might live in that range, but people in high stress professions, they see a 5 as a 0. So they live constantly at that 5 level. And then, when things happen, they may go up higher, up to a 10, but they're always at this like medium level of stress at all times. And they take that to be the normal. And then what happens is you may intellectualize that it's normal. You see it happening around you. So it seems that it's normal based on your experiences of being in that profession. But what is happening inside you, right? You are accumulating the stress in your body. You are dysregulating your system. You are seeing the results of that in weight gain. You're seeing the results of that in depression, in anxiety. And, I know a lot of people in high stress professions that have substance abuse issues that they don't recognize as substance abuse issues. So having to have a drink, and this is not a judgment against anybody, but needing to have coffee in the morning and a drink at night every single day, I think is something that people will take as normal. But if you don't take a close look at why that is, like, why are you doing that? Why do you need that every day? I think that we can miss the fact that we're really stressed. And let me look at the comments here. Would you compare the stress similar to people with high work stress jobs in corporate America? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when we talk about high stress professions, we're talking about lawyers, we're talking about doctors, people in these corporate positions, executives, business owners. That's a huge thing. I have a lot of business owner friends that have, very, very high stress, and they take that on as like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, I'm busy, my business is booming, I have to do this and that. And they have coping mechanisms, whether it's smoking or drinking or gambling. I have a lot of business professionals that I know that gamble a lot. And it's one thing to have a vice, it's a completely different thing to use it as a coping mechanism or to be dependent on something. And a lot of times that adds to the ill health that we will face. So if you are stressed and you drink to deal with the stress, the drinking is also going to lead to poor health outcomes. And we just take this as normal. It's just happy hour, and it's going out to a networking dinner, and a lot of people don't recognize that they are actually having an addiction, an addictive response. And so let me see. Yes, people drink to cope. Yes, people do drink to cope. People drink for various reasons, but drinking to cope is something that we should definitely look at, because if you are relying on something outside of yourself to cope with whatever is going on, then oftentimes, like, that's something that's going to lead you down a path of ill health. And I have some statistics. I won't read through all of them, but I just wanted to point this out to really bring this home for my people who are in these professions and may not necessarily recognize how serious the issue is. But 50 to 60%, that's more than half of physicians report symptoms of burnout. Um, we've heard these before. Burnout seems harmless, but then, people end up with depression, suicidal thoughts, medical errors. We have people who are considering suicide every single day. A physician dies as a result of suicide every single day in the US. I don't know if people even recognize that 80% of US workers report job related stress. 120,000 deaths annually due to stress related health conditions. And on the stress related health conditions, we're talking about things like cancer. A lot of people don't associate cancer with stress, but if we really look at the studies, if we really look at what's happening inside the body, they are closely related. And we see that people in high stress professions have higher incidences of things like any chronic disease you can look at. So you look at things like cancer, you look at things like high blood pressure, diabetes. These are very, very prevalent in people with high stress professions. We can go into why. So, whether we can say it's because of the body chemistry, we can say it's because of, when you're stressed, you don't eat as healthily, as helpfully, you don't take care of your body in the same way. You increase cortisol and other hormones that can have um, a negative effect on your body and your health and your ability to take care of yourself, take care of your family. And then in addition to that, we're a lot less effective at work as a result. So people take being stressed as a badge of honor. Like, Yes, I'm so stressed because I'm busy or because I'm successful. But at the end of the day, being stressed makes you actually less effective. You will be more likely to have memory loss. You will be more likely to forget things. You will, well, same thing. You will be more likely to make mistakes on the job. You will be more likely to have a misjudgment or to make a bad decision, because when you're under stress, your brain is not working effectively. So, all of that to say, I think we really do need to, as a society, get out of this paradigm that stress is normal, first of all, that stress is a part of any job or any profession, that stress um, is good in any kind of way. And we really need to actually look at the science, look at the facts, and make intelligent decisions about how we live our lives. Let me look at the comments again. I agree. Sadly, they want to work younger people that way or offshore the work. Yes. Yes. And I actually have statistics too about how this affects people in other countries. So in places like India, over 67% of doctors experience moderate stress, 30% report depression, 17% have considered suicide. Like, we look at the people who we're outsourcing our jobs to, people in other countries, they're experiencing it too, because at the end of the day, it's like, we expect we have very high expectations as a society of people in the workforce, and there is very little provided to support people and to support people's mental health. It's all about production, it's all about, the bottom line, it's all about making money. But number one, if our workers are dying earlier, if our workers are less effective, if our workers are sick, how is it that we are getting better work? It doesn't make any sense. And I think this is a broader topic that we could talk about this in every direction for a very, very long time. But it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. How do you do that if the CEOs are just laying people off? So here's my perspective of how we address this, right? Of course, some of it can come from the top, right? We can all petition, we can all ask for changes, but my concern is you. My concern is the individual, because at the end of the day, we all have a personal level of power and autonomy in our own lives. So I don't even think that the working is bad. Like, for example, I'm a lawyer, right? I did not learn everything I learned and decide I'm going to stop being a lawyer because it's too stressful and it's bad. What I have learned how to do is to regulate my own system, my own nervous system, regulate my own thinking, my approach, my way of working with my job, and use the tools that are available to us. So, in neuroscience, we have a lot of information now about how the mind works. In spirituality, we have a lot of information about how our connection is to our environment. We have a lot of information physically, biologically, about what's happening inside our body and our systems with certain reactions. So the chemicals our bodies are producing, how our bodies react to certain stimulus in certain environments. And then we also have a whole lot of information about just what works, what techniques work, about what we can do. We have studies that have been done. And so the key is to take that information and to apply it in a way that we can actually make changes. So what am I saying at the end of the day? What I'm saying is I, you, he, she, everybody just has to decide for themselves, like, listen, I'm stressed out in my job. I may make a lot of money, but I'm stressed out in my job. What can I do to change that for me? So what can I do to ensure that I can reduce my stress? I can find meaning and purpose in my life. I can live my life in a way that I can still make my money, I can still go to work, and I can still be effective, and I can still have a great social life. I can still have great relationships. I can still have time to spend with my family, and I can be happy. And I also, I see a lot of us have the perspective that it's not possible, that you can have it all, and that you can't have it all at the same time. Or I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of that to be true, because I've seen people who have done it. I've seen studies on this. I've seen the statistics. I've seen the information. I've seen the results. And I have done it for myself in my life. And I have done it with people that have been in close proximity to me, that I've worked with personally. So I know it's possible. And if I'm an attorney and I can get these results running my own law firm, running my own real estate business, running other businesses that I have, while at the same time having a great social life and having great relationships. It's possible. It's definitely possible. And all the tools that I have learned and used, I've invested a lot of time. Most of my life, I've invested time, I've invested money, I've invested energy in learning these things, seeing what works and what doesn't work, reading the studies um, over long periods of time, watching what happens, working with people. And I not only see that it can work, but I see exactly how it can work, because everything doesn't work. Everything that you see on the internet doesn't work for everybody, and a lot of it is piecemeal. So somebody may learn in a course something about neuroscience and take one principle, but it doesn't work unless you put it all together, right? So if you, for example, if you're baking a cake, eggs go in a cake, but if you try to make a cake and you only use the eggs, it's not going to be a cake, right? So it's so much more than that. It's putting it all together, and that's something that I have done. I want to share that with you. I really want to help people with this. I want to be able to help my friends with this. I want to be able to help, people I know personally in my life who would really benefit from this. And so, I'm just here to share. I'm here to share. I'm here to bring you into my world of all of this is possible. And let me see what other questions we got. How do you mitigate stress in your field yourself? So yeah, so that's exactly what I do. I have taken all of these different studies. I've taken different practices from meditation. I've studied, I've done the research. Well, I haven't done the research. The medical professions and the practitioners have done the research, and they've compiled it, and I've studied it and applied it to my life, to the lives of other people. And so yeah, I took personal responsibility. I did the work and I made it happen for myself. And so I want to encourage everybody to do that. Um, I haven't done it yet, but I really do feel passionate about this. And I want to put something together that I can gift to people in order to help them along the way of this. This is something that I really do care about, that's really changed my life and allowed me to continue practicing law and to continue with all my passions without being stressed, and while still being happy and fulfilled and still being the person who I was before I came into this profession. So I don't want to stay too long because I do have somewhere to be tonight. But I just wanted to share that, and I want to encourage everybody to kind of open your mind and your thinking into realizing that maybe this is not the way. Maybe constantly being stressed and burning yourself out, and then like trying to go escape with TV or with um, alcohol, or like go on a quick vacation just to kind of um, ease the pain is not the way. You can actually find meaning and balance in your life exactly where you are. So if this video helped you at all, give me a like, leave me a comment. Let me know if there's anything specific that you want me to address. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Gamer G. Like, it's always great to see you. Thank you so much for your support. Always, you've been supporting me for a very long time. And yes, to everybody else, just welcome in and just let me know how else I can help and be of service. Take care. Thank you. Take care.